This past round of the NBA playoffs reminded everyone that the postseason is where stars become legends and contenders reveal who they really are. We saw dominant performances, young superstars take another leap, and championship hopes either strengthen or completely fall apart. From statement sweeps to gritty 7-game battles, the second round showed just how thin the margin is between surviving and going home. We've learned a lot from these first two rounds. Some things surprised us, while others just affirmed what we already knew. While Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is currently the best player alive, that title might not be his for long, and it can be taken as quickly as this round. Victor Wembanyama has shown he's built for the playoffs, seemingly breaking another record every other night. In his first playoff game, he became the first player to put up 35 points and connect on 5 3-pointers in a postseason debut. Then moving on to the second round, he'd make even more history. In Game 1 against the Minnesota Timberwolves, he recorded a total of 12 blocks, the most ever by a player in a postseason game. Think about that. In just his 5th ever playoff game, Wemby set a record that not even the greatest defenders of all time could touch. Not KG, not Dikembe, not even the great Hakeem Olajuwon, but Victor Wembanyama at just 22 years old was able to achieve this feat. And the crazy thing is, there's a good chance he breaks it again, and it could be as early as this year. Moving on to Game 3, Wemby would make even more history. In the Spurs' 7-point win, Victor put up 39 points and 15 rebounds on 13 of 18 shooting from the field, becoming the first player since LeBron James in 2012 to have 35 and 15 on 70% efficiency in a playoff game. But it doesn't end there, because he also added in 5 blocks in the defensive end. When you add in this stat, he then joins Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Shaquille O'Neal as the only players with 35, 15, and 5 blocks in a postseason game. And here's something that doesn't show up in the box score. Minnesota players only shot 4 of 21 when guarded by Wemby in Game 3. That's a percentage of only 19%. Victor would be ejected early in Game 4, but he'd come back with a vengeance in Game 5. With the series tied at 2 games apiece, Wemby stuffed the stat sheet once again, putting up 27 points, 17 boards, 5 assists, and 3 blocks in a pivotal win. The Spurs would close out the series in 6, and through 10 games, Victor's numbers look alien-like. With averages of over 20 points, 10.5 rebounds, and 4 blocks per game, Victor joins David Robinson as the only 2 players to record this type of stat line in their first 10 postseason games. Anyone that puts up these sort of numbers is worthy of praise, but to do it in your first ever playoffs is almost hard to believe. Years from now, we're going to look back at this as one of the best postseason debuts by a player ever. I'm talking one that rivals the likes of Michael Jordan, LeBron James, heck, maybe even Magic Johnson. And the thing is, he still has an opportunity to add on to it, but in order to do so, he'll have to do it against the Oklahoma City Thunder, who look indestructible. While the Spurs had their way with the Thunder in the regular season, the playoffs are a whole different beast. The defending champs look scary and have saved their best basketball for the postseason. Through 2 rounds, the Thunder are a whopping 8-0, winning by an average margin of 16.6 points per game. They are the first defending champs since the 2017 Cavs to start the playoffs 8-0 in just the 11th team period. They've been doing all of this with arguably their second best player Jalen Williams missing significant time. He's been out since Game 2 of the first round, but the Thunder seemingly haven't missed a beat. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was just announced as this year's MVP, and rightfully so, putting up averages of over 31 points, 6 assists, and nearly 5 rebounds per game. But the scary thing is, the Thunder haven't even needed him this postseason. Against the Lakers, Shai was held to his lowest scoring outing in a playoff series since 2020. Over 4 games, he only averaged 24 points and 6 assists per night, well below his average of 34 and 8 in the first round. On top of that, he committed 3.8 turnovers per game, which is the highest mark of his career. While the Lakers did limit the MVP slightly, it clearly didn't matter, as OKC needed just 4 games to get past LA. In the absence of Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren has stepped up as the team's second best player. He averaged 20 points on 61, 39, 87 shooting splits and came up clutch late in Game 4, hitting 3 straight shots down the stretch to secure the victory. Jared McCain has been lethal from 3-point range, especially against the Lakers, connecting on 12 and 19 shots behind the stripe for the series. AJ Mitchell has had his coming out party, especially in Game 3, setting career high in points, assists, and steals, as well as becoming the first player in franchise history to have 20 and 10 with 0 turnovers in a postseason game. He then followed this up in Game 4 by once again breaking his own personal best in both points and steals. With a roster as deep as this, it's no wonder it took till Game 4 of the second round before the Thunder saw their first instance of trailing in the 4th quarter this postseason. But even with this dominance, they've proven to hit another switch when needed to, and no stat showcases this trait more than this. In Games 2 and 3, the Lakers became the first team in NBA history to lead at the half in back-to-back playoff games, but lose both by a combined 40+ points. With all this in mind, there's a very real chance that we are going to see our first repeat champion since the 2018 Golden State Warriors. Okay, we have to talk about the New York Knicks. For the second year in a row, the Knicks are playing in the Eastern Conference Finals, and to say they've been dominant would be a massive understatement. Ever since their Game 3 loss against the Hawks in the first round, New York has rattled off 7 straight wins, which is the longest streak in franchise history. And speaking of Knicks in history, they set an abundance of records in their Game 4 win against the Sixers. For starters, their 144 points scored is the most in franchise history, With this mark, they also became just the 5th team ever to record multiple games of scoring over 140 points in a single playoff run. A big reason behind their success was their ability to knock down the 3-ball, and with 25 makes behind the stripe, the Knicks not only tied the NBA record, but set a franchise mark for most 3-point makes in a playoff game. Following their 30-point win, the Knicks have now outscored their opponents by 194 points in 10 games this postseason, the best point differential in a 10-game span in NBA playoff history. Game 4 was also their third 30-point win of this postseason, which sees them become just the 3rd team to accomplish this feat since 2000, the other two being the 2016 Cavaliers and the 2025 Thunder, both of which won the NBA championship. And it's not just offense that the Knicks excel at, but defense too. In games 3 and 4, they held Philadelphia to just 102 points per game, more than 22 points under their typical game average. Oh, and they did this while missing one of their leading stars in OG Anunoby. With his expected return for the conference finals, their chances at winning the title only improved. So far these playoffs, OG is averaging over 21 points, 7 rebounds, nearly 2 steals, and over a block per game. And he has done all of this while shooting a ridiculous 61% from the field, 53% from 3, and 80% from the charity stripe. No player in league history has ever put up this efficient of a shooting split in a single postseason run. Karl Anthony Towns has been exceptional too, and seemingly found a hidden weapon in his passing game. Cat has had a total of 4 games this year where he's recorded 10 assists or more, with 3 of these having come in these playoffs alone. Now every finals contender needs a leader who can come up in the clutch, and Jalen Brunson has been just that. In Game 2 against the Sixers, Brunson hit 2 late shots to secure a win in a game that featured 25 lead changes. He then followed this up in Game 3 with 33 points and a 14-point win. Finally in Game 4, he put up 22 points, 6 assists, and 4 rebounds on 6 of 10 shooting from the 3-point line. Star power? Check. Playoff experience? Check. Leadership? Check. Resilience? Check. Outside of the Thunder, the Knicks look like the best team in the league and are just 4 wins away from their first finals appearance since 1999. And since 2022, the team that lost in the previous year's Eastern Conference Finals made it over the hump the very next year. New York looks to continue this trend, but in order to do so, they'll have to make it past the Cleveland Cavaliers, who have been exceptional at overcoming adversity. While up 3-2 over the Raptors in the first round, the Cavs found themselves with a 1-point lead with just seconds remaining in OT. All they needed was one defensive stop to close out the series. Luck wouldn't have it, as RJ Barrett would hit a game-winning 3-pointer that nearly bounced up to the ceiling. In a matter of seconds, it seemed all the momentum and confidence had swayed to Toronto's side. Most teams would give in and fold after a devastating loss like this, and in Game 7, it seemed this would be the case yet again. The Cavs found themselves down by 9 late in the first half, but that's when it all changed. Led by Jared Allen's 22-19, Cleveland hit another switch and went on to outscore Toronto by 21 the rest of the way, punching their ticket to the second round with a 12-point win. Overcoming adversity once is one thing, but their series against the first-seeded Detroit Pistons proved this wasn't a fluke. The Cavs went down early to the Pistons 2-0 and seemed dead in the water. Media outlets everywhere were deeming this series over. Headlines screamed of the Cavaliers' careless play and highlighted their costly turnovers. Fast forward to Games 3 and 4, and the Cavs would respond emphatically on their home court. James Harden, who had been criticized heavily for his lackluster performances in Game 1 and 2, showed up big at the end of Game 3, hitting 3 crunch-time buckets to give Cleveland their first win of the series. Then in Game 4, it was Donovan Mitchell's turn to crank up the heat. After being limited to just 4 points in the first 24 minutes, Spida exploded for an NBA record 39 points in the second half. This outburst fueled a 22-0 run and brought the series back to Detroit tied at 2 games apiece. Fast forward to Game 5, and the Cavaliers found themselves in the hole once again. With a little over 2 minutes remaining, Cleveland was staring at the wrong side of a 9-point deficit, but the Cavs would rally and tie the game at 103 with 45 seconds left. From the 5-minute mark in the fourth quarter until halfway through overtime, the Cavs held the Pistons scoreless going on a 13-0 run. This saw them go ahead by 7 late into overtime, where they wouldn't look back, leaving Detroit with a 4-point win and looking to close the series out in 6. However, that's easier said than done, and Game 6 proved it. Cleveland was routed on their home turf and lost their best opportunity to advance to the conference finals. This meant they'd be playing Game 7 back in Detroit. For a team that was 1-5 in road games this postseason, things didn't look too optimistic. Flipping the script from Game 6, the Cavaliers blew up the Pistons by 31 points, advancing to their first Eastern Conference Finals since 2018. Donovan Mitchell led the way with 26 points and 8 assists, putting to bed all the criticism saying he can't make it past the second round. Jared Allen also made his presence known for the second Game 7 in a row, dropping 23 and 7 in just 25 minutes of play, while Sam Merrill lit it up from beyond the arc, scoring 23 points while connecting on 5 of 8 from deep. Champions are made through adversity, and so far, this Cavaliers team has passed the test. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends. Thanks for watching as always, and until next time, peace.